Yeah, there's an arms race. I think all the analysis of where gerrymandering could happen, the Republicans technically win that arms race by a seat or two. It was interesting to me he mentioned Illinois. Illinois, there's a subtext to that. Illinois did a huge gerrymander at the beginning of the decade. Big blue Democrat state. Governor Pritzker there also wants to run for president. They gerrymandered out of Congress the most anti-Republican member of Congress, and Adam Kinzinger. So when Newsom now is saying, come on, Illinois, do your part, it's a bit of a shot at Pritzker, because I don't think Pritzker can any more gerrymander Illinois than it already is. So now, a lot of flowery political rhetoric, but there's a subtext to all this now. There's many layers and layers as we enter into these presidential waters.
Yeah, speaking of presidential waters, we didn't hear what we maybe might have been expecting out there, a potential presidential run. We haven't heard that yet, but
yeah, but
soon.
we heard what he wanted to make sure everyone else heard, is that Californians lead the nation, and other governors should probably do the same. So, I mean, I think to Rob's point, it's a shot across the bow at some of these other governors. Maybe it's not as easy as what happened here. There's other, these states have different laws and constitutions and the way they have to do things. And, but for him, it was two things, right? Everyone else to get on board, take this serious, and I'm going to keep fighting Donald Trump. And that's what the message was.
We saw just today the governor in Maryland announcing a commission to study the idea. He didn't go much further than that, though. Where do you think the Democrats go next here?
Well, I think it'll be curious to see what comes out of this tonight. Is it going to be, I think we started the program talking about New York City and, how did Democrats handle what happened in New York and versus what happened down the street in New Jersey, and I think those are the things that are going to have to come out. Is to Rob's point, you had two people running for governor, two women members of Congress with backgrounds that had, one was a Navy pilot, one was in the CIA, very different resumes than the person running for mayor of New York. So we'll have to see which of those is the path that people are looking for. Of, we have candidates that have national security, they serve their country. Or is it somebody who's a democratic socialist who wants to give away, wants to make the buses fast and free and open grocery stores? Very different.
That's a great point. Is there a big appetite for change in the Democratic Party? And then also, we'll get to you on the Republican side.
I think there's an appetite for what do we need to do to stop what happened last cycle? There's too much. There's been too many losses that have been, fundamentally shaken the Democratic Party. Now, I'm not going to get a memo tomorrow from the Democratic leadership to say, here's the new marching orders. That's going to have to work itself out as we move into this next presidential race. But, there's studies that have come out where people have done, research on, okay, what's the way forward for Democrats? And to me, Rob and I have talked about this before. It's a lot of what we used to do when we ran campaigns. We'd get good candidates who could talk to both Democrats and Republicans and independents. And we've lost some of that. And I think that's what we need to get back to, of a Democratic candidate who's not afraid to go and talk to independent voters and not be scared of them. But, it's a lost art.
And I promised you your time, but it'll be short. Just your thoughts, 10 seconds or so?
10 seconds. Republicans are lashed to the mast of the SS Trump. The game is amongst Democrats. Newsom tonight is speaking to Democrats, but he brings up Jan 6. Voters knew that when they gave Trump the popular vote last year. Democrats still have to find an answer to what they're for and how they can govern if they become a majority party nationally.
Really quickly, Dr. Pan announced his run for 6th District. This is all stuff that's happening within just not even hours of the election being announced, right?
So true.
And so these are things that we are going to be following, of course. I want to show you a look at the results if we can, because that's what this night is all about, right? There you see it with 64% of precincts reporting. The yes vote has 65%. The no vote has 35%. Proposition 50 has passed. Of course, we'll see what that final number ends up looking like. Still very early. Y'all know how it is here in California. They got a lot of counting to do. But there are the numbers right now. We do thank you so very much for joining us tonight.